I passed my driving test. I'm so excited. I told my driving instructor that I was ready to convert, and he said it's not a cult. But I'm still pretty excited to have an official Norwegian driver's license. So, hi, welcome back to my channel, Heather Abroad, and as promised, I have the driving license video for you so you can help visualize the process when going through all this overwhelming information in the first 3 months. So this video is for anyone who is on the country list. There's one of 13, well, there's 13, so you have to be one of the 13 countries that is non-EU, EEA, to be able to go through this process where you skip the coursework and go straight to the practical driving portion of the test. If you are not from one of the countries on this list, then you have to proceed, unless you're giving some other instructions, you have to proceed as a new driver and take all the coursework, which I've heard can take up to a year, and it is definitely more expensive and time consuming. And if you miss your deadlines, then you will also be required to start from the beginning and take everything no matter how experienced you are. So you want to be mindful of your deadlines, which I will clear up in this video. And lastly, all the steps, there are 4 with 1 optional, will be listed in the description below with links to each of the websites. So let's get started. The first step is ordering your tax registration card. So you'll do that on the Staten website here. I like to use Google Chrome to convert everything to English, but just keep in mind that for translation. But here you'll order your tax card. You can also view or change, but since this is your first time, you'll be ordering it. You should have your P number set up and bank ID ready to go now, so you'll use that to log in to order the card. And then it'll come in the mail and it will look like this. So it's actually going to be a sheet of paper 8 by 11 and say resident certificate, even though it's called a tax card. So get that done because you'll need to turn that in. Step 2 is understanding your timelines and what rules you should follow. So this information will be found on the Statens website. And again, I translate everything. You will find the first thing on here is the list of countries that make you eligible to skip the coursework and go straight to the practical driving test. So if you are from one of these 13 countries, you are lucky and you get to skip ahead and save some money. There's also other great information on the website, as you can see, just for different countries with specific rules or the process itself. There's the application form you can click on. Obviously, you'll need valid identification. And then we're going to move on to the requirements when replacing the driver's license. Must have a valid driver's license. A little bit of lost in translation because you'll see again here that you must have a valid license. So obviously they want it to be valid. Okay, and then deadlines. This is where some people get hung up. For the deadlines for the passenger car, you'll see here it says 1 year. But this is if you don't want to drive your car after 3 months. So you're taking the bus, you're riding your bike, you are not driving a car, you have up to 1 year to turn it in to be able to skip the coursework and just take the practical. But you need to still be able to finish it all within that year timeline. If not, as you scroll down, you end up coming across a second set of information wherein you click on use driving license from countries outside of the EU. So here it says you're able to use your driver's license, but only legally for up to 3 months. So this applies to those who want to drive. You can do so legally for 3 months, but after that, you have got to get that driver's license turned in prior to that 3-month mark with your application and your tax residence card. They'll give you a temporary license and you will be able to drive legally for another 3 to 4 months while you wait to take your practical driving test. That is very important to note that you do need to do that because if you continue to drive after 3 months, you are technically driving illegally in Norway. And so you want to get that taken care of as soon as you get settled in. Step 3 is booking your appointment at Staten website, so that way you can avoid long wait times. So booking the appointment will also be done at the Statens website, which I provided a link specifically for booking an appointment down below. And again, I translate. You choose the service that you would like, driver's license, and then you will come down and see that you have to sign an agreement to proceed with the website about the information and how they store your personal data. And then you'll move along to pick the traffic station that you would like to sign up for your appointment. So this is all of Norway. It's the Norwegian Road Authority. So I find the Stavanger area, or Stavanger, depends on who you talk to. There it is up. Okay. And so click the Stavanger area, and then you're able to see the appointments. This typically books up a week or so out in advance. So I had to book like a week ahead of time, but it looks here like there are a few slots if we wanted to book this week. So you might get lucky, but I suggest booking because I sat for like an hour and a half waiting to kind of fit in the middle of the queue and realized that I should make an appointment. So I left, came to the website, made an appointment for a few days later or a week or so later, and then went back in. And you can expect to be seen at the time that you pick. And then it'll proceed to have you put in your information to make that appointment. And then optional step 3B is taking practice driving. I highly recommend taking at least one set of driving tests, which are booked in blocks of 2. And maybe after you get feedback, you can decide if you need 2 or 3. So as I said, this is an optional thing, but I definitely recommend it. And Olavs Traffic School came highly recommended by some other expats for us, and we found their service to be excellent. They help with everything. You can see that there's lots of coursework if you have to do that. But here you can just book a driving lesson. They do book them in 2 block times. So you are purchasing 2 at one time. So that's a double price. So $7.95 times 2. And then you can see the schedule as you click the days. There's multiple instructors with multiple times. This is pretty easy to get booked. And then once you do that, they help you with everything. So we used Erik here, and he was awesome with just helping us understand the driving culture and the subtle nuances of Norway, and just much appreciated advice for making sure that we follow the rules here. So you'll get this information sent to you. You can proceed with VIPs if you have that set up, if not, with your mobile number. Step 4, take your driving test. And if you pass, they'll instruct you to order your driver's license. When you take your driving test, just relax. I had to just remind myself I've been driving for 20 years, like this is nothing new, and I had adequately prepared. You will start your test with 2 questions and a vision test, which is pretty casual. Then you'll just go for a drive, and good luck. So Staten Vivesen will communicate with you via text message, which is nice because it gives you just quick access to your appointments and the information that you need to keep up with during the process, making sure that you have everything at your fingertips. And they'll let you know when your driver's license, assuming you pass, is on the way. Now let's talk cost. So the first cost is going to be practice driving. So if you do at least one lesson, you're looking at $7.95 NOK, but they're blocked in 2, so you have to pay $15.90, so $1,590 minimum for one test. And then if you take 2, that's times 2 and 3. So this cost is just with one block of lessons. That looks like 45 minutes, and then they kind of like tell you feedback, and then you go for another 45 minutes. And then the second cost is $2,400, and that's because you have to rent a car from one of the traffic schools. I used the same traffic school because it was easy and they booked everything for me, but I don't know what the cost would be using a different traffic school's car. But you have to do that. They bring the car to Staten for you. Then the next cost is when you actually show up to take your driving test, you have to pay. You can go inside and pay before you start, which I recommend because I ended up having to pay like once I got into the car before I could start my driving test. But it's 1,150 NOK, and that will be paid before you start your test. And then after you pass your test, if you pass your test, they will tell you to order your driver's license. Now that is if you have already been instructed to take a picture. Turns out no one asked me to take a picture when I turned in my driver's license, so I had to go inside, chat with the people about why I couldn't order online because I didn't know, and then she said, oh, we need to take your picture. So she took my picture, and then I was directed to like go sit back down, and you have to get back online and order it, and then you just wait for it to come in the mail. So I hope that this has helped you understand the process and just make it easier for you. Let me know your experiences with getting your driver's license, or if you have any questions that I think I may be able to help you with, or that you think I may be able to help you with. My brain. Okay. Thanks for joining again. Until next time, see you later.